Hey guys, what's up? It's Teletubby Terror here, and today I wanted to review something that's been a little controversial over the past couple weeks. Planetary Annihilation. I know this might come as a surprise to some of you guys because I mostly play first-person shooters, but I've been really into this game lately. Let me just start off by saying that this game is huge. When I first started playing this game, I had no idea what was going on. If you think there's going to be an in-depth tutorial about how to play the game and how to do well in this game, no. Get that thought out of your head right now. There's nothing. There's no big tutorial that tells you anything about the big units. There's no tutorial that tells you about any of the structures. Well, hell. There's no tutorial that tells you what the hell your objective is. But to be fair, the objective is really straightforward. Your job is just to annihilate anything that moves. It can be a planet, it can be, just an alien life form, any kind. It can be your teammates for all that matters, but as long as you kill everything in the galaxy, you should be fine. But as bad as that sounds, that's kind of how every RTS is. Real-time strategy games just involves one team being pitted against another, and sometimes there's just interferences that come in the way, but in the end, you have to be the last one standing. And if you compare this game with any other RTS out there, it can definitely hold its own. So we've covered one half of the title, Planetary Annihilation. We've covered the annihilation part, and that part is obviously clear. You're just gonna want to, blow everything up. But how about the other half of the title, Planetary? The whole point of this game, and what makes it different from RTSs out there, is that you can go from planet to planet, blowing everything up. Even though I say that slightly sarcastically, in all seriousness, the fact that you can go from planet to planet, having these battles on each planet that would be the size of an entire match on different RTS games is amazing. What this game does amazingly well is puts you into perspective. You can be in a battle with one computer for over 20 minutes on one planet, and then after you finally win, you can scroll out and then realize that there's still 10 more computers to go. That feeling you get is just, you feel tiny compared to everything else, and I haven't felt that feeling in any other game to date. But when you do finally secure a foothold in whatever planet you're on, the way to get between planets is a little janky. You can't actually load up your troops on, say, something like an interplanetary satellite. You have to build a teleporter, which is a little weird for me. I don't know. It works, and it works well for what they were trying to get at, but I just think that it would have been cool if you could load up some of your troops on, say, something like a landing craft, and then have, artillery from space firing down on the enemy while all your landing crafts load out the troops. I don't know. I just think that would have been cool. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe building a teleporter and going the sneaky route is the best way, but I don't know, I still think they could have something to kind of accommodate what I'm getting at. The one thing they have that's closest to it can load one troop on it, and that's, I don't know, it seems pretty useless. Why would you ever want one tank when there are hundreds of tanks on the enemy planet? I think its main purpose is so that you can load up an engineer to go build a teleporter on the other planet, and that just seems silly to me. Why not just have all your troops on that landing craft so you don't have to build a teleporter? I don't know, that's just me. It's not too big a downfall to the game, it just kind of annoys me. But if you've ever played an RTS before, when you're on the same planet, or even when you're doing interplanetary warfare, you're going to feel right at home with the different troops and structures available. The way they've gone about the combat is pretty normal. They have their standard land units, their standard air units, and the standard naval units. But of course, in Planetary Annihilation, they have space units. In my opinion, the space units are pretty underdeveloped. They have space fighters, which don't live up to how cool they sound. They only attack other space fighters, and yay, I guess. But some of the other things they have is a laser defense platform, and that could be cool, but it's so slow. For a spaceship, it goes at like 0.0 miles an hour across the planet. It goes slower than tanks and ships that are moving right under it, and I don't know, I don't get that. But once you do have over the enemy base, it can cause awesome damage. Like, it can destroy an entire enemy base if they don't have any defenses. Speaking of defenses, the defenses they have are pretty well in line. They have artillery, they have close range effects, but the nuke is pretty powerful. It might even borderline overpowered. Once you have a nuke, it can pretty much decimate an entire base. And unless you have an anti-nuke, you're done at that point. That's the game. Game, set, match. Hope you had fun, because it's over now. I mean, sure, you can say, like, well, why don't you just build another base? Because, like, no, you're not going to do that. If they nuked you, they're obviously pretty powerful. They're just going to come and wipe you out. In fact, I pretty much win all my games just by nuking the enemy. Once I have a bunch of close range defenses and a couple artillery, I'm set at that point. I can just focus on building nukes, and since nukes can go between planets, I mean, I basically won at that point. There's not much more they can do about it. And I'm not the only one either. Even the computers win using this tactic, which is ridiculous. 30 minutes in the game, you'll scroll out and you'll see there's 20 nukes just flying at your planet. Like, you're done at that point. There's nothing you can do. Even if you've been stacking up on anti-nukes the entire game, it's just a steady flow. Just keep it coming, keep it coming. You scroll out, and it's a steady pace. They don't stop coming. I don't know where they get all this stuff, because I'm building them fast too, and I only have like 3. But for some reason, the computers, oh man, the computers are brutally difficult. When I first started playing, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just sitting there with my thumb up my ass, and then, I don't know, I get an army, or what I thought was an army. I had like 5 tanks, and I start exploring the planet, and then a couple seconds later, everything just explodes, and game, set, match, I have to play again. So, the learning curve is pretty steep, to say the least, because you're not going to learn anything from the game, including the story. If you're expecting an in-depth storyline with characters, main characters, plot, you know, just all those ingredients for a good story, well, again, no, get it out of your head. All gone, no, nothing there. At least in this version of the game, the story is almost non-existent for an overstatement. There's one segment in the game, wait, I'll just show you. Take a look.
Greetings, Commander. Much has been lost since the reawakening. Others have come online. Like you, Commander, they seek answers among the stars. Find the others, rip apart their planets, stop the spread of other factions, and annihilate them.
That is the only story you get in the game. There's no intro scene when you first start up the game, and I'm pretty sure there's no end scene. I can't be sure of this because I've never beaten Galactic War, and there's 2 reasons for this. 1, the way Galactic War works. I kind of like the concept of this. So how it works is you jump to different planets with a horrible movement system. You can't move the camera side to side, so fix that. And you collect these technologies as you jump from planet to planet, but it's completely random. So if you get naval technologies 3 times, or space technology and naval technology, well, first off, you're setting yourself up for failure, because naval, I mean, there just might not be planets that have water in them, period, so, you know, goodbye. And space, you can't really do much with space. But then the other thing is, if you get half-ass stuff and then the computer gets, say, like a nuke technology, well, I mean, you know where it's going there. You're dead. And so, I don't know, it needs some tweaking. And then that combined with the brutal difficulty of the computers, when you reach these boss fights where it's 3 versus 1, well, if you can get your ass handed to you with 1 computer, just imagine how fun it is with 3 computers on that same difficulty. Yeah, not too fun for the person on the receiving end. Me. And then 2, there's no save in the middle of a level. And to me, this is the biggest no-brainer in an RTS game. Like, seriously, what game have you heard of that doesn't have a save option in the middle of your game? Like, these games can easily go above an hour, and I don't know about you, but I have some things that get in the way, like, I don't know, real life. It just blows my mind that there's no save button for any of these games. I can't tell you how many times I've had to end one of my coolest games that I've been in simply because I don't have time to finish it. When these games go on for an hour and a half, 2 hours, they're cool, but it's time to stop, and if you can't end the game in the middle of it to come back to it later, that's almost game breaking for me. But who knows, maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe you guys do just, play video games for hours upon end. But me personally, I don't really know too many people who have that kind of time to spare during the week, or even during the weekend. So for me, this needs to be added in as soon as possible. I mean, how hard can it be to add a save button? Sorry if I'm starting to sound like a broken record here, but this is my biggest problem with the game. But yes, there's a bright side. Even with all these flaws in the game, this game is still my favorite RTS game that I've played. When you are in those awesome matches, there's no other word for it. It is just awesome. You can be on the moon of one planet and then see everything that's going on the surface of something else, and it's just, it looks incredible, it plays out great, and overall, I think this game is definitely worth it if you're any fan of an RTS game whatsoever. The gameplay is amazing. Even with a somewhat lackluster space system, it's still so much fun to play, but the lack of a story definitely cuts down from the overall value, and there's no tutorials. The multiplayer is pretty cool though. You can play with your friend on the same team, and even farther than that, you can have the same army. So say if me and one of my other friends wants to play, we control the same stuff, we have the same resources, everything we build we can use, and that's kind of nice because we can be on one planet and we can control everything there, but anytime we want we can go back, look on that planet, see if they're doing it right. If not, we can help them out, and then if one planet dies, you still have another planet to fall back to, you're not out of the game. And I really love that co-op system. It's things like that that are unique and just help the game in so many ways. It adds replay value, it adds just another element, making it so much fun to play. And speaking of playing, if you don't like the levels that are there, you can make your own. There is a great galaxy designer system that I was really surprised to find. It's in-depth, you can make as many planets as you want, you can make it any style you want, and I was really impressed. So overall, this game is definitely worth a buy. $60, yeah, it's a little bit pricey considering there's virtually no story and no save. But if you're any fan of an RTS, the gameplay in this is great. You're gonna feel right at home, which is good because if you don't feel right at home, you better learn quickly. But overall, every time I play this game, I come out with a big smile on my face. I'm glad I played it, and I definitely think that anyone with any interest in RTS games whatsoever, you could not go wrong with getting this game. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Am I right? Is this game really fun, worth its money? Or am I completely off my rocker? Worst game of the century, no one should ever play it. Just forget about it as soon as possible and just continue on your merry way. Either way, let me know down in the comments. If you guys happen to have a suggestion for anything you want me to review next, I'd be happy to consider it. Any rate and subscribe is well appreciated, as is any support just in general. This is Teletubby Terror, and I'll see you next time.
launch detected. Nuclear launch detected.